to hide.
Hello, 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 everyone. Good day, good evening. This is Matt with ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and this is yet another episode of Mattitude, the ESC United live stream, where we talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision. And it's a very special night, just like every night has been for the past, God knows how many days. But now it's semi-final 2 night in just now a little bit of an hour and a half, a little less than an hour and a half. The semi-finalist 2 participants will take the stage and hoping to grab one of those 10 prestigious grand final slots. And then we have the full lineup of the grand final that is set to take place on Saturday. So we are creeping closer and closer to that very, very special moment called the grand final. But we have a little bit of time, so I think we should hang out and talk. And right now it's only me, but fear not, I have my right-hand man, my BFF Connor joining me in just a moment. He is actually leaving work and he tried to be here on time, but he said he may be a few minutes late. So we will definitely bring him in as soon as he gets here. In the meantime, I want to say hi to everyone in the chat. Of course, this is also a good opportunity for you to ask your questions throughout, the evening here while we're still having the pre-show. And don't forget, once the qualifiers are known, very important, we here at ESC United will come back live to discuss the 10 qualifiers and everything else that is happening. So as always, if you subscribe to this channel and you hit the notify button, you'll know when we are going live. So I see hello from Estonia. What? Hey, everyone. Aussie Rose. Beloved Mod is here, and I see lots of highs. So sorry I can't address everyone, but we have so much to talk about. So as you saw, hopefully, if you are subscribed to our channel, that I put up the predictions for ESC United. That these are the combined team results, not just mine. And I'm sure that we're getting it completely wrong, but we tried it anyways. I hated doing the prediction this time around because I think this is a very competitive group. There are only a few songs where I'm like certain and a lot of gray area in my book. So I think we should talk this through. From Romania, hope one day we will be back. Tao Tao, it will be 25. We have to believe in it, especially if a country that is closer to you geographically wins. I think there's another incentive for that to happen, but it doesn't feel right not having Romania. Now we missed out on Romania in 2016, and even that, I remember that year, and it was really weird. But that was a weird year anyways, because you basically were disqualified because, kaching. This is a different situation. Still kaching, but you weren't disqualified. You get my point. Anyways, what happened with your old intro? What's up, you fools? Oh, I retired that a little while ago because too many people get offended by it, and it just wasn't worth it. It was just something I said randomly once, and then people loved it, and then I kept sticking with it. But it was time to retire it. So it's fine. Not everyone gets the fools. They think I'm actually calling them real fools. So it was done. Even though it was a reference to a thing from Eurovision, but people don't go back to 1998 or so, to get that reference. So whatever. Anyways, we are going to talk about a little bit about our predictions, and I would love to hear from you. As soon as Connor gets here, of course, I'm gonna fill him in. Where would you like the next Eurovision to be hosted? Wherever it's cheap, that is my official answer. Putting the songs aside, I want to go to affordable place, since, it's between Croatia and Switzerland, if you believe the betting odds. Then I would go with Croatia because that's more affordable, but both songs are great, so I don't want to just do that. Come here. My baby is back, but he's camera shy right now because he wants to go for the treats. Hang on. I cannot. I didn't want to put him away because I haven't seen him in 4 days. So I'd have to move the treats away. Sorry about that. How unprofessional. Anyways, so that is probably on paper would be ideal. Even putting the song aside, I'm just talking about the betting odds because Croatia is a country I've always wanted to visit, and I actually had my trip ready, and then COVID happened, and that sucked. So yeah, that's basically where we are at. So let me go through some of our predictions here and see where you agree or not. Yesterday, I went for them real quick, and Connor did not vote because he hadn't had a chance to see all of the whole run through of the show yet, which he did now, I believe. So once he gets here, I will go back to the ones that we have already discussed. So we actually have a strong agreement for the most part. The team that those that have voted, we had 8 votes from the team in Malmo, as well as those that are online accessed, and we all voted. Will there be a poll tonight? What kind of poll are you referring to, Yves? Meaning, like, who you think will win? I'm sure Connor can speak more to that because that's his area of expertise, the articles and whatnot. But anyways, the first country, of course, on our list. Let's go for the first 3 countries really, really fast. The first one, obviously, the song that closes up the night. The Netherlands will easily qualify. It's a banger. The audience goes berserk over it. And I know some people were a little concerned because they saw the initial press poll where the Netherlands was outside the top 10. I always said that the Netherlands will struggle with the juries, and the press poll often is a little bit more, I wouldn't say jury friendly, but certainly doesn't always go with the hyper televote friendly votes. So I wasn't too surprised, but this will fly through. Whatever you may think about the staging, which most of us think could have been a little bit more fun and elaborate, but it is not bad, and the song in itself is just strong enough. I know, it drops in the betting odds, but it is not that bad, and I never considered it a winner anyways. So that's why I'm not too surprised. But yeah, that's how I feel. Let me know if anyone disagrees with Netherlands not qualifying, but I would be very, very surprised if that is not going to happen. As always, at ESC United in the chat. Another country that everyone agreed on our team is going to qualify is Norway. It's just, do we really have to discuss this? Once again, I don't know what's going to happen in the grand final with Norway, but in terms of qualification, we are totally on board. This will fly through. Some of my team members actually, this could win the semi, which is maybe not the craziest prediction in my book. I don't know if I am there, but I can totally see this one being easily and will be probably in the top 3 in the televote. We also have, of course, Israel. Everyone on the team agrees Israel will make the cut. I know there's a lot happening in Malmo right now, but based on what we, predict here, this is a very, 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 very likely guaranteed qualifier according to us, because it is, eight out of eight said this will go through. That wasn't the only three ones that we all agreed on. The next one that we all agreed on is Armenia. There were a little bit of doubts before, but it's just a cute, fun, energetic, uplifting staging, and it just really sits right. It gives me this Belarus 2017 Navi band feel, right? So it'll do quite well in the televote. There's a place for this kind of music in the contest, and there needs to be place for that in Eurovision, because you don't get to hear that anywhere else. So at least not for like people that live in my part of the world. So that is why I'm like, yes. So I'm absolutely excited that everyone on the team is confident that this one will go through as well. Also, everyone agrees that Switzerland will qualify. Song number 4 of the night. Not a surprise to me, obviously. I still think this is the one that may win the televote. Could be the Netherlands, but I think Switzerland is just going to go really, really big. Top 3 as well. And I know there were some conversations about the staging initially. I always said, hold your horses, relax. People have different vision of the staging, but it looks good, and it's just good. It's really, really good. So that is the 5th qualifier that we have decided on. The 6th qualifier, that was a big surprise to me, not because it's bad, but a pleasant surprise. Everyone on the team, all 8 of us, agreed that Austria will go through. Which, not that I'm sad, because I'm obsessed with that song, but there were some concerns about her vocals and her timing and the visuals and all of that stuff, right? There were so many concerns, but everyone still put it through. I actually had it as, at this point, a borderline qualifier. So I was like, should it be in or not? And then I put it in, and then I saw everybody else, and everyone else said yes as well. So I'm not as confident about Austria as apparently the team is overall, because everyone says yes, but they deserve it. I'm just worried. This genre is so difficult to put on stage, right? And we've seen it before flop at Eurovision, so I don't want that to happen now. And yes, she was vocally a little inconsistent at times, but this song also, it's more forgivable when the vocals aren't as perfect, if you know what I mean. So those are the 6 songs that everyone agreed should qualify. And then we go into the ones that we almost all agree on, which then number 7 is Georgia. 7 out of 8 people believe that the Firefighter song will go through. I'm surprised that one person still says no. This seems to be to me a guaranteed qualifier at this point. It just hits right. It hits where it needs to hit. I said it before. Is the most innovative song or presentation we've ever seen? No, but it works. For Eurovision, this is absolutely what the people want, especially from a semifinal. I don't know how it'll perform in the grand final because there's more competition, but for this group, absolutely, it stands out. She has a voice that is ridiculous. I said it before. She was like doing the first dress rehearsal, doing it like it was the last one. And I just so appreciate her for that. Her voice is just ridiculous. So, yes. It's 7 out of 8, but I obviously voted yes on Georgia as well. Not a surprise for me. Another song that got 7 out of 8 votes, so qualifier number 8, if you will, is Greece. Once again, I'm a bit surprised that one person said no to Greece, thinking it actually will not come together. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Don't look at me. I think this will fly through. I know the staging. Not everyone is as, maybe they're not overwhelmed with the staging. They're just whelmed with it. But come on. Come on. It is so good and so fun. And this is what Eurovision's all about, this kind of music, that, again, it throws so much cultural feel to it, or at least what we all foreigners think when we think of Greek sounds. It's just so much fun. It'll go through. Let's just stop pretending. So, as you can see, most of us agreed with the first 8 songs, except, for 2 songs, one individual said no. It wasn't the same individual, by the way. And then we have 2 spots left. And the 9th spot goes to a country that 6 out of 8 of us actually think will qualify. And that is Estonia. So, And I see good questions in there. I'm going to ask them and answer them in just a moment. So post them again at ESC United in a minute if I don't see them. Estonia will go through according to 6 out of 8 people, which means do math. Suspect true. One up there. 2 said no. But I can see where they're coming from because the staging is not as, well done as some of the others. It's still fun, and the reaction in the audience I heard a few times was a little bit more muted than they thought it would be. So I can see a universe that this could not happen, but I just think there is too much overall appeal still, and it's closer to the end. So yes, I think that one will go through as well. So that's our 9th qualifier. So give me 1 second. In terms of people asking about Connor, I'm asking right now. He's not waiting yet. So the next one is actually, before I do that, just so you know, this was 6 out of 8. The 10th place is 5 out of 8 said yes. So it's getting a little bit more, almost half. So hang on. He said he's in the room, but I don't see him. So maybe I shared the wrong link with him. That would be unfortunate. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to make it suspenseful for the 10th qualifier. This is all on purpose. It is totally planned. Oh, now he joined. Right before I sent it. Okay, hang on. So I think he used the wrong link, maybe? I don't know. Hey, Connor.
Hello.
Hi. I didn't see you. Did you have a different link?
I don't know. I've just been chilling.
Oh, there was a major delay for you to pop up on my end. Strange. You just popped up right now. Well, welcome, Connor.
Hello. I have my liquid lunch.
Your liquid lunch. Well, I only have some Crystalite. I'm gonna go out for lunch afterwards. And but maybe I have some oatmeal later. But anyways, we just went actually through 9 of the 10 qualifiers. So I'm going to hold on to the 10th and final qualifier. The suspense is so much fun. So your timing was really good. Because you did not share your qualifiers prediction earlier when I asked for it, because you didn't see the whole show yet, and it's understandable you weren't ready to share it. But now you have put something together. Let me know if you agree with the ones that I just mentioned, okay? Okay, and just real quick, we got to go a little quicker, of course. The first one I mentioned, 8 out of 8 people said yes to the Netherlands. Do you agree?
Of course I agree. That easy peasy.
Easy peasy, right? It's like a stupid thing. Like, let's look at the cons why it may now. Obviously it's going to go through. The next one, Norway.
Oh yeah, confident about Norway. Televote very strong for this song. The juries, who knows, but it's televote only. It's Norway. Norway always does good with a televote. Pretty confident on this one.
Yeah. By the way, do you live in the past?
No.
I think you do, according to your shirt, at least.
No.
If I've seen it correctly. Is that from 21?
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to put on my other Eurovision shirt.
I know. So it looks very 21 to me. That's why I was just saying that. That's funny. Go represent. Anyways, the third one, also 8 out of 8 said this will go through Israel.
Yeah, so there's a difference between personal and professional me. Professional me agrees with that, and I think that they will go through. Personally, it's not on my qualifier list. It's actually my 11th song. I do, however, see a world that in the event that they miss out on the grand final and qualifying, I think that 11th, 12th is where they end up. Possibly some televote dings just did enough. I do predict that the spread basically from probably about 8th or 9th place all the way down to 12th was probably going to be less than 20 points. So it just really depends on where they come up. But again, professionally, I do see this qualifying just because they do well in a televote based system. Personally, though, I have it as a personal non-qualifier.
No, and that is fair. There are several ones that I have as a non-qualifier that are certainly, I said, they will go through. Trust me, mine, if I look at the non-qualifiers, I think if at least half of them I would be in, but that's a story for another day. Also, everyone agreed on Armenia is going through. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, so I know that I shared some concerns earlier, just about kind of how empty the staging is or feels. I still do have those concerns because I feel like it does miss a little bit of that party vibe that I really think that this song wants to give. They are a live performance band. They do a really good job of selling that joy and that jovial aspect, which is really good for them in the running order slot that they're in. I just think that I would be more confident in their qualifications if their staging was just like turned up from a 9 to a 10. But I do still feel like this song is going to get through. One, because again, it's televote only. Two, it is a great performance. It is memorable. People really like it. They clap along. And we need a little bit more, I don't want to say up tempo, but joyous songs to counteract some of the darker songs and also just the dance pop
Dance
songs that are
numbers.
probably going to get through.
Yep. Yep. I think that is fair. That is fair. Song number 5, also receiving 8 out of 8 votes so far. Let's see if Connor is going to break that streak. Switzerland.
Oh, that's an easy one. Of course, Switzerland's going to go through. I think that this song has a lot of characteristics. I don't think it's going to do potentially as well in the televote as it will in the jury when it qualifies for the grand final, just because this is much more of a jury heavy hitter than a televote heavy hitter. But I still think it's going to be top 5 in the semi overall.
Yes. And I love everyone saying you look fabulous and stylish. And what about my nice shirt that says, I'm thinking? What do you guys think? That is stylish to the nth degree. Rude. Now, so these are the first 5 songs. Okay, you see my stuff shaking. That's the dog going wild. Stop it. So there's another song number 6, also receiving 8 out of 8 votes so far. Let's see if Connor disagrees here. Austria.
I don't disagree. This is another song where my professional and personal lists are a little different, but professionally, in terms of what I think will actually qualify, I would say so. One, it is a dance pop number. People love this kind of music in Eurovision, especially the televote. It is a great, memorable performance. Should she qualify, and I think I've made this comment before, should she qualify, I think the jury is going to ding her a lot because the vocal just is not up there. Personally, I've got this on the bubble only just because, as amazing and memorable as a staging is, I just think that there are some better vocal packages in this semifinal. And it's not my favorite of the pop, what we're going to call, I guess, the pop girly dance numbers
girl bop,
in the semifinal. So professionally in, personally, not as confident, but probably still in. It's like, I think 9th on my list.
Funny because my personal one would be high up, right? But professionally, I'm actually on the border with them. I'm like, I think I put that as my 10th, only because I was, what we've seen so far made me a little nervous. Especially the last. I didn't see the last one. How was she in did you see the last one, right? How was she in there?
Yeah, I watched the family show this morning. I would say it really didn't change much from what I saw. I got some of it from yesterday. Upon what I'm going to call Buffergate.
Well, that's why I'm wearing that shirt.
I figured
that's the whole reason behind it.
It was in honor of yesterday's stream quality.
People said in the chat, yeah, that was all deliberate. Do you think that was a coincidence that I'm wearing this? I missed it.
But no, it was very much on par with what you would expect. I will say there has been a significant difference between the pre-party vocal and what she's delivering at Eurovision on the Malmo stage. So that is a great benefit to her, and I think that is testament to a lot of hard work. However, there is a very clear line that they have prioritized choreography over vocals. Yes. And you're gonna see it tonight. We're going to be like, that was not the strongest vocal, but I still enjoyed that performance. And so it's just a matter of how many people go vote for Austria instead of vote for other songs. And I think that tells us where they end up in the semi ranking.
I mean, Austria has half-naked hot guys dancing in rhythm. What's not to like? Max is saying, point taken, I guess, But not everyone is into hot naked guys, So you have to, some people are not. But it's funny. I get it. Okay, so these were the 6 songs that everyone agrees on. Now we're going to get some disagreement, but not that much. Qualifier number 7 out of 8 said yes. Georgia. Are you also adding another note to this one, or is that a qualifier in your book?
Oh, it's a qualifier. It's one of the better songs that Georgia has sent in the past. And I think, again, my note of Austria, I think that they have found that perfect balance and a perfect artist who can do the choreography and perform live and sell that energy of the dance song. So I would say that this is a pretty safe qualifier. I do currently have it like professionally at around like the 6th through 8th. So I don't think that they're going to like sail through, but I think that for Georgia, just getting to the final is a victory in its own right.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's no way that all 3, at least what we consider girl bops, all of them will go through. But then again, we maybe made a similar comment about the 3 Balkan entries, and then they all made it through anyways. So that's the beauty about Eurovision. You just never know. Then the next one, qualify number 8, also 7 out of 8 team members said yes, is Greece. Yeah? No?
I would say Greece, yeah. I think that one, they have a package that's very different. Kind of that package of having the one steady cam for the entire full 3 minutes.
Most of these. There's some cuts, but for the most part, it's one. Yeah.
Almost. I mean, but still, like that's a really ambitious staging. I will say that she has the charisma to carry this song and perform it. She sounded really good this morning, despite the fact that she is sick right now. So I can't even begin to imagine what her performance would sound like or look like if she was at 100%. So I think that Greece is fine. If the live performance wasn't clicking very well, then I'd have a little bit more concerns. I'm thinking like, was it Greece 2018, where we were like, oh boy, that's not looking or sounding correct. We're not at that stage. We're at Greece is going to comfortably qualify. I predict probably 5-6 in the overall result.
We'll find out Sunday morning, basically right after the grand final, how close, how right/wrong you were. Next up, our 9th qualifier is 6 out of 8 said yes. So there are 2 no's in there. Where does Connor fall? I mean, we're not going to change our predictions now because it's already locked in. But if you would have been included. Estonia, in or out?
Estonia for me would be in. Again, this is one where we're a little bit different from my personal ranking and my professional one. Personally, this song has grown on me from Estelal. In Estelal, I absolutely hated it, but a large portion of that was because the performance was just not there. The concept was there. I saw the vision. You could not hear them. They were doing too much. And they've really refined this, very similar to Croatia, my comment with Croatia. They've refined it and found the perfect balance of this vision and the choreography and who needs to be doing what at what time. It is coming together, and I think that it is really entertaining. However, with Estonia, this is one of the songs that I'm not 100% sure the televote is going to show up in waves for, in the same way that it seemed like they did for Estelal. I do have them kind of in that 8 to 10 bubble right now, from like my kind of personal prediction of like rankings. Because I think that if they were in semi 1, I think that they'd be top 5. I think Estonia would have sailed through. This one, I just think that it's going to be a little bit harder, and I think people may choose other entries, but still give points to Estonia. But they're not going to be giving them 12s, 10s, and 8s. They're probably, 5 4s and 3s, just enough to get them through.
Yeah, I mean, I basically was thinking the same thing because there seems to be more of a muted response even in the audience with Estonia, surprisingly, what I'm hearing. So maybe, but we'll see. It could be deceiving as well, so you never know. Audience doesn't always reflect what the televoters, the viewers think. And then the last country that I didn't get to earlier, and everyone was waiting for me to announce the one that got 5 out of 8 votes. We'll announce that one after the qualifiers are known. So see you then. Now, of course, it's already, the video's out already, so you could check it out regardless. But the last one we put in with 5. So 3 no's, 5 yeses. And where does, because so far, all of yours, you agreed with all the 9 qualifiers so far. Are you going to agree with our 10th qualifier, which is Belgium? So, Connor, do you have a 10 out of 10, or is this the one where you disagree? Tell me, and tell me why.
So this is the one where I disagree.
Outrageous. No, that's okay.
I always in the semifinal feel like there's one entry that I always disagree with. I'm usually 9 out of 10 with us, but
so close to this time, almost.
So close. I have not been able to connect with this performance. I think that this is another instance where Belgium had a really good song and a really good performer, but the staging actually pulls it back in a way, or is kind of hindering it, because they're trying to replicate the music video. His vocals aren't 100% there. He's sometimes out of tune with the actual track. So I see this being actually a borderline non-qualifier. I picked something else that, if you know me, should not be a shock that I picked it instead.
And that's the one that we didn't pick for our top 10? Don't say it yet.
And it's one that is not in our top 10. Yes.
Okay, well, we get to those in just a second. First of all, thank you so much, Atik Burns, for your super chat. Thank you so much for all your real content. Real content. Really appreciate what you do and your team. Entertaining, still professional. I hope next year you have the chance to broadcast from the host city, and I hope you'll be there too, Connor. No pressure, but I know it's different. We don't know yet. If it's Switzerland, we all have to declare bankruptcy, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But I really appreciate the support. Let's just really quick we go through the 5. So we have, just a reminder, the 5 in running order. It's the 10 qualifying countries according to us in running order: Greece, Switzerland, Austria, Armenia, Georgia, Belgium, Estonia, Israel, Norway, and the Netherlands, which then means we believe that the last 6 songs of the running order all will qualify. So let's go through the 6 countries we did not pick really, really quick. In 11th place, 3 out of 8 said yes, 5 said no. By the way, those who watched the video, I agree 100% with the 10 that we chose as a team, which has never happened before. So that was very interesting. And the 11th place was the most painful one, because this would be my top 3 personally. I love this song so much. I love the staging so much, is San Marino. And this is where I had to put my personal bias aside as much as humanly possible. And that was after the first dress rehearsal, right? So now I'm almost leaning towards putting them in, but I already locked my vote in. I really want San Marino to qualify. I just feel like people just don't get the song, even the arena and all that stuff, but it looks so good and it feels right. And there is a market for this music, and yet I decided not to put it in. I hate myself for it, but it's just what I did. Connor, is that the mysterious 10th qualifier for you, or is it somebody else?
It is not. I know that in the stream, I think, I don't remember when it was, I had mentioned that like the San Marino performance has really excited me. It does still really excite me, and I think that when you all see it, you're going to see just visually how much of an elevation this is, just from like a San Marino staging perspective. They're usually known for going simple. There are overlays in here. There are really cool effects, really cool graphics. I think the problem is just that Megara, the lead vocalist of Megara, is just under where she needs to be vocally to carry this entire performance through to the end. And I think that if anything is going to ding them, is going to be that. It's going to be one of those songs that we come back to, very much like when I think about like Georgia Circus Mercus, and I'm like, what a cool staging, but I don't think it's going to qualify. Yes. This is where I'm at with San Marino. It's a really cool staging, but I just don't think that there's enough pull in there. Even with them having Spain and Italy voting in their semifinal, I don't think that there's enough to really pull out a victory. I currently have them in that 11-12 bubble as well.
Me too.
I think that they're just going to miss out.
But I would not be shocked if they pull a top 10. If they squeeze into that top 10 place somewhere, somehow, it would not be the biggest shocker. Clearly not for you either, because, you have them as a borderline non-qualifier. Because we all know San Marino, we always have high expectations, and every year we get that slapped in our face that they're not going to qualify again. So we're all just scarred for life about that. So we're all just like, they're not going to qualify. Come on. But yeah, no, I get it. Then in 12th place, 2 out of 8 people said yes. I wasn't one of them. But I can see a universe where this happens as well, is Malta. Connor, I know there's still one country out there that you think will qualify. Is that one for Malta?
It is Malta. So I think that one, this song stands a really good chance because it is the opening act for the semifinal, which does again give it a little bit of a recency effect. It is memorable. People are going to remember the staging. I think that it is the more choreography heavy of the three kind of comparison songs here. But again, my comment was about Georgia is they have been able to have a singer that has the charisma to carry this song and do the choreography without sacrificing a vocal performance. So I do think that she could get through. I'm not 100% confident that she's going to be super high in the 10 if she does, because it is Malta. I mean, like, let's be honest here. But I think that there's a chance that they could sneak in and kind of surprise. Now, that does mean that we do get all three dance, highly choreographed numbers out of this semifinal, but it's not impossible. So I'm rooting for Malta because it would be nice to have them back. Let me just put it that way.
The show starts in 56 minutes, I think. So just hang on tight on that one. We're going to talk a few more minutes. I'm give you enough time to get ready and enjoy the show. And but for now, those are, I agree with most what you're saying there as well. I can see universe there as well. The four other countries. So Czechia got 1 vote, 7 no's, so 1 yes, 7 no's. Denmark got 1 yes and 7 no's. And then Latvia and Albania both got 0 yeses, so 8 no's. Out of any of these 4, Connor, the one that you want to put a little bit of an emphasis saying don't ignore or something like that? Because I know you didn't vote for any of them either, but one of them that's on your radar potentially.
Excuse me. I would say Czechia. I would not count them fully out of potentially qualifying. They do really have, I would say, a really good package. This has come together in a way that I didn't see it coming together based off of the way that we saw ESCZ, which I really hope that they can figure out a way to just like build that national final up a little bit because it's so misleading every time.
I know.
But then every time we get to Eurovision and they pull out this package that is really well defined. I didn't have as many expectations for last year with Vesna, and they qualified. I think this year they have a staging that is really, really cool and very different for the semifinal because it kind of breaks up a little bit of, I would say, a little monotony here. And they have some really cool ideas with like having her inside the LED cube during the performance and telling the story of the fight and things like that. So I would call it, I guess, a dark horse. But I would say that if Czechia gets in, I think it's 10th. I think it just barely beats out whoever comes in 11th. And it's probably a matter of single-digit points.
Yeah. I know we want to also answer some questions. So I know you asked a few, and I apologize for not getting to all of them right away, but we want to go through this stuff real quick here. At ESC United in the chat, let me know. And while I'm looking that up, Connor, previously I said Czechia and Denmark are still in potential dark horse contention for me. The only ones I feel are dead on arrival. Not that I want to, but I believe just based on what I'm seeing and feeling and hearing, Albania and Latvia have little to no chances. Would you agree with that, or do you think there's still some hope? I mean, there's always hope, right? But you get my point, what I'm trying to say.
There is always hope. I think of those two, Latvia stands a higher chance. I think that they have a more interesting package, I would say, of the two. I think the problem is that his song is very flat. It doesn't really go anywhere. And for me as a listener, I really like a song that tells a story and like really takes me somewhere. His song is a perfectly fine performance. He sells the song. He gives it an emotional spin.
Sounds good,
it looks visually good. I just don't think that it's enough to really stand out in this semifinal. Unfortunately, Albania, I think, have a package that is serviceable and it doesn't look bad on the stage. My issue with it is that they have this woman who sells immense charisma and diva status from Festivale Ikenges, and they've just stuck her on stage and just stand there. Don't move. Don't do anything. We're just going to put everything around you. And it really, I think, pulls away from the energy of the performance, not to mention that the song Revamp is actually bad. But it really just kills the performance. because it's supposed to be this like really uplifting song. It's very much like Samantha Tina when we got to Turin, and I was like, oh, this is a bop. And then she's just standing there like,
I know, right?
it gives me that vibe. And so
She does a little
Albania,
bit more, but when she takes some, there's a little bit more, but I totally get the spirit of what you're saying there as well. Yeah.
it's just not there. I think that they stood a better chance if they had left the song alone. If they had
Yeah.
just found a way to make the original song 3 minutes, they stood a better chance. This one, it's just not. It's
A lot of people say, I
not
never
gonna
heard the
stand out.
original version, so I'm going to check that out after the semi, probably, because I'm still behind on that one. And one more thing I'm going to mention in just a moment, but let me put up the first question. Do you think Latvia could have had more chances with a better staging, or was it always doomed? I think Latvia needed the jury, and I wouldn't say a different singer because he's fantastic. I just more charismatic staging and like a storytelling, not just like him standing there with the ring and then it just it's an almost anticlimactic, the song to me. And it sounds good. There's a little bit of a build, but not really for me to be like, ooh. So that's why I don't think the staging even would have, I mean, maybe, but I really think they needed juries and just a more memorable, maybe the staging, but I really just the singer had to be a little bit more engaged with the camera. So that would be my biggest concerns here. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah. I think that the staging is personally fine. I mean, it is what it is, and it was
Yeah.
going to be what it was going to be. As I mentioned earlier, I really think that a revamp of this song would have helped if they would have been able to take the actual elements of the entry and infuse it with a way that it actually builds and kind of becomes like much more emotional and intense as the song goes. Because really, honestly, if you're listening to the song, it starts at 100 and it ends at 100. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. And so I think that that's how they would have been able to make a memorable staging and a memorable performance. Very much like how like the LED elements of like the tree growing in the background, things like that. You could have mirrored the song that it grows in the same way as the tree. And I would have been like, okay, listen, from an artistic standpoint, that's kind of cool. This is a good performance. It's a performance that I think Dons can and should be proud of. But I just think that in this semifinal, it is not the year where this would be competitive. In other years and other semifinals, it may have stood a better chance. But in this one, unfortunately, I don't suspect them to get more than, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 points total.
And I think the ESC United slogan should change from "Let's talk Eurovision" to "We want to be wrong," because it's not like we don't want them to qualify. ESC United, we really want to be wrong. So that's basically how I feel about that. So keep in mind that, because I really like the song. It was my top 10 through. See you in the finals, Dons. But yeah, what Gabe, I almost called you Gabe. Connor just said, absolutely accurate. So people were asking in the chat, the Loa team, how can they be part of it? So we talked about it earlier, Connor and I. So every time after Eurovision is over, so either Sunday, Monday, we'll see, we post a new link to our Join the Team to start the new team for 2025. Connor's kind of overseeing it, of course, I want to give everyone a chance on live stream if they want to be interested, but of course, got to put in the work as well, like help with the articles and social media, whatever you want to do. We need a lot of help. So we'll put that out early next week or late this week, after Eurovision, shortly after Eurovision. That's the point. And then we may have to add a couple of people here and there. So we'll see how that goes, because there's always a little change. People move on, people join, and that may be your opportunity. Anything else I need to add? Is that kind of like accurate, since you're kind of overseeing the recruiting thing?
I think that that's perfectly accurate. I will say, if you are super passionate about Eurovision and you really enjoy the team, this is exactly the way that I started out in this team. Was I was watching all of the live streams in 2016, was interested, talked about doing things, and I was like, I really wish that I could do something like this. And then I just randomly sent an email that went to Matt ahead of Kiev in 2017, and lo and behold, I ended up on the team. So the only thing that's going to stop you from being on the team is not communicating with us. So
and not being nice. We're nice people,
Yes.
So we're trying to be very professional and respectful towards one another. So if that is always the biggest thing. We all get mean, but other than that, we don't want to have that kind of spirit among us. Anyway, so any other questions at ESC United, put them in there. Happy Semi 2 Day, everyone. Watching you guys while having a gin in my garden before the show. I love reading these comments, Connor, because I see people like at like Eurovision parties watching us pre-show and doing all that stuff. Some people sitting in the yard, some people just doing their laundry. That's my favorite kind of thing, like knowing what people are watching us. The weirdest ones are the ones to me when they're watching there on a big TV. I'm like, not so close.
I really wish that I could do that, but since it's 1:14 p.m. in the afternoon, it's not really a good time for me to be sipping on some gin.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't drink alcohol. I don't like alcohol. I keep saying that, like, I wish, but instead I'm gonna have my vitamins. They help me out.
Probably better.
Yes.
I'll have my coffee.
I don't want to leave the impression that I take a lot of vitamins. I hardly ever. Just have once in a while when I need some, woo. So the question is, when you quit this live? In a few minutes. You can leave if you want to, but we can answer a few more questions if you want us to head out. We're going to be on for another 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. I want to give you at least 20 minutes to get ready for the show. But obviously, Connor, after tonight, we have the full running order. Let's just assume. I know that's not going to happen, but for our dialogue, we don't know who's going to qualify. But let's look at the obvious qualifiers. If Netherlands goes through, when Netherlands goes through and get producer running order, do you think that would then put closer to the end or beginning or middle? Do you have any guess on that one, where the producers would want to see that one?
For the Netherlands in particular?
Mm-hmm. Because that's like, Netherlands and Switzerland, because those are the two big hitters, I think, in this one in terms of betting odds and fan favorites.
Right. I think with the Netherlands, they are, especially since they are in the closing slot right now, I have a feeling that if they got a producer run, they're probably, if they put them in the second half, be early. If they put them in the first half, probably later. With Switzerland, if they get a producer pick, I have a feeling they're probably going to be in slots 9 through 13.
Oh,
kind
really?
of in that juicy range where we usually see a lot of winners come out of. Now, if one of them picks a half, obviously that changes. So, for example, if Switzerland picks second half, I think that they're possibly would be 14, 15, because they're going to try and put them as early as possible and put something around it that doesn't have a lot of preset work. So, like, for example, Slovenia, if they're in the second half, Slovenia might end up following Switzerland because it's an empty stage. With the Netherlands, yeah, it really just comes down to what they pick. But if they get a producer pick, I foresee them either being in the second half of the first half or the first half of the second.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Have the team seen Ollie at all from the UK? I'm a little disappointed he ain't been doing much social media interviews. I don't think we haven't really spoken to him at all, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's getting a lot of heat for the whole, political situation that he's faced with, more than other artists, unfortunately, which seems unfair. But have you seen any interviews with him at all, or exposure? Not that much, right?
They have been kind of keeping him a little guarded. He has been doing a little bit of press here and there. He has been making appearances. He's been doing a lot of his own personal social media stuff. So they are around and they are doing things, but I would say they haven't been doing a PR campaign like they did with Sam Ryder, where he was
even May Muller,
everywhere
was
all the time. Yeah, May Muller was definitely around. Now, granted, she benefited from being in the home, being the host country. So,
true.
I think that with Ollie, they're just trying to make sure that he doesn't spin himself out energy wise. I know that he was a little disappointed on the performance from Tuesday, just because there were a couple of hiccups that happened and he kind of ran out of steam just a little bit. So he's not 100% happy, if I remember his post on social media correctly. But I think he's doing the best that he can, but is just being selective on where and what he does.
Now, that is true. I know there's a lot of pressure on him right now because there have been some backlash is too strong of a word, but certainly concerns about some of the vocals we've seen. So he probably, that makes it awkward as well. Keep in mind, we still have for him 3 more dress rehearsals that he can work on things. And so relax a little bit. The staging is just ridiculously good. So I'm still optimistic when it comes to the UK. Kletskos is saying, what do you think, or why do you think that the Netherlands dropped to place 7 in terms of betting odds? I still think we could be a 3rd place, but maybe I am biased. 2 things on that one. Number 1, betting odds are not in terms of ranking. It's only if you believe that the Netherlands won't win. You could think, oh, Netherlands is a definite runner-up, 2nd place, 3rd place, but you won't put money on it to win if you don't think it's going to win. So that particular ranking I would not take as the actual ranking order. And the reason why it dropped is because people, and that's probably a mistake that people make. They're trying to hype up the staging so much, and then if it doesn't meet certain expectations as the hype suggests, people kind of run away from it. And people still love the song, and it's going to do really, really well at Eurovision, but people, I think, expected more from the staging. And I think there were other performances and rehearsals that people got more excited about. And now the betting odd makers, those who want to put money down, went towards that. Plus, Croatia is currently just owning the betting odds right now. So I think that happens a lot as well. So there are multiple factors. But I think the fact that, people consider the rehearsal underwhelming certainly didn't help them. Anything to add, Connor, or do you disagree?
No, I fully agree. I mean, if you, I guess, you have to be really careful about the odds, kind of similar to what you said, because just because it's high in the odds does not mean that it is likely to win. That there is a correlation here. It's not always 100% accurate that whoever is high in the odds does do well and potentially wins. But this is about money. It's not about a poll of who do you think is going to win or who do you feel confident about qualifying or whatever. It's I am a betting person and I like to gamble. And so I'm going to put X number of dollars down on this country to qualify or win or whatever. So I think that that's why we've seen this shakeup, is that especially as we get closer and closer to this broadcast, we've seen all of the rehearsals and all of the performances. People are more confident in putting money down on other performances right now to do well or to win. Whereas with the Netherlands, if they have put money down, if they do come top 10 or whatever, you still get a return of investment. But people are obviously, with the way that people are reacting to Croatia, they're going to put a crap ton of money down on Croatia because that return of investment is way higher than if the Netherlands comes top 10. So it's crazy, and this is why I don't really get into odds. One, it's illegal in the US to do online gambling, so we can't bet to begin with. But then also,
is it? I didn't even know.
It's at least not legal here where I'm at. It may be in California.
I don't know. I don't do it, so I just didn't know.
But yeah, there's just a lot of you can't say with certainty that just because it is high in these odds.
And there are different betting odds. They're the top 3 betting odds may look different than the top 10 betting odds, and who comes last betting odds. There's so many different ways to look at that. It's all, as I said, it's all about money. Because I never would have put money down for Netherlands to win, but I would put money down for Netherlands to be in the top 10 kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That is certainly that kind of thinking behind
I
it.
would make that bet for sure. I would not, however.
We're not advertising and make any bets, by the way. We're not.
No. But if you look at this number 7 conversation of it being number 7 in the odds, that is the odds for who will win the contest. So I think that is why it is 7th, whereas you see Croatia, Switzerland, Ukraine, Ireland, and Italy, and France above it. Those are a little bit maybe more impressionable stagings that people feel more confident on. So it's not that it's bad, it's just people don't want to put money on it.
And those who just joined midstream, once again, this is the pre-show of the semifinal 2. We will have a post-show as well. I think the people from the live stream, from the press center, will join me as well to talk about the results. So make sure you tune in later. I'll put up the link. And tomorrow, Connor will definitely join for the first dress rehearsal of the grand final, which starts. What time does it start? I looked it up. Do you know? Early afternoon tomorrow.
I have absolutely no idea.
Early afternoon. So then in the evening, we'll have the grand final not the grand final, jury show. And this time it is a jury show. That means the juries will vote tomorrow evening and for the best song. So those acts better step up. I almost said a bad word from RuPaul, but step up your you know what. And so you know what I was going to say, didn't you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Meow meow.
Meow meow. And, and, and anyway, so we'll be there for that, talking through that as well. So make sure to join us. So now finally to Marcus's question. Do you think next year all of the running orders will be decided by the producers? I will say, I don't know next year, but in the near future, I think it will. I could see them wanting to do at least the semifinal full running order, because they now can make a case. Look, last year semi one, look at every song from the first half almost qualified. It doesn't matter. So I could see them saying for the semis, we will do producer running order. And then later, maybe in a few years, also the grand final. But I don't think right away. They may not, but that's, I think, what I could see happening next year or in the next couple of years. I don't know how if the broadcasters would revolt, but again, certain broadcasters have more power than others. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the BBC or the German broadcaster, ARD or NDR, doesn't say much, I don't think it matters, and it doesn't impact them. So I could see that certainly happening. So just be mentally prepared for that. I'm not saying it is going to be the case, but it could. Connor, what do you think?
I personally completely agree with you. I mean, the semifinals in and of itself, with the exception of the semifinal allocation draw, is already producer run. They're the ones who basically have the full say on what happens. The way that I guess view this changeover for Ahaha, well, now we have these 3 pots, is it's kind of like how or what they did last year with the announcement for qualifiers. Oh, well, we're going to try this out. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how people react to it. And then we are or aren't going to make that change. And I think that this is kind of where this is leading, is that they're trying to see what impact a producer-led final would have if the qualifiers are televote only. And basically trying to assess what could happen. I don't love a producer-based, like fully producer-based one, just because it can set up certain songs in certain countries to do better than others. I do like a little bit of an element of randomness. I don't want to go all the way back to here is a bowl of numbers 1 through 26 and fumble around and congrats, you're now 23rd. But I do like the system, and I'm a little biased because it's been around since I've watched, of it being draw for first half, second half, because then there's a little bit of mysticism and anticipation of where you're going to end up. And also there's a little bit of, I guess, an accountability with the producers that they are going to be in the first half and it is now up to you to decide where to put them, versus it being put, all the favorites in the middle of the show and put all the non-favorites in the front end and call it done.
Yeah. And somebody's asking why the team's reactions aren't up. The EBU gave additional instructions in terms of reaction. You're not allowed to post your reaction videos to the results if you're in the press center, because it's considered recording live material from the press center. There's no allow for any shows, whether it's the live or the rehearsals, no sound is allowed. So when you're in the press center, you're not allowed to react to the results, unfortunately, and put them online. So at least they were clear on that, because they were not clear on that previously. So I'm glad at least we have that clarified. Max is asking, why juries vote different and with worse taste than the public? They are only human, ? Well, worse is subjective, of course, so I will not speak to that. Maybe they don't vote sometimes in line with the majority televotes, but I think that's the whole reason why they were implemented in the first place. Those who watched the contest back in the 2000s, they will remember that the quality of songs really was catered towards novelty acts, and becoming really difficult for certain acts to take the contest seriously, because they may not have the immediate earworm, or like something a little bit more, I don't want to call it intricate. I don't want to downplay other people's efforts that are popular with the televote, but there was like just some certain kind of music that may not be an immediate first hook, or certainly not as, mass friendly, but still brings some quality and some uniqueness to a contest, because Eurovision is more than just let's see what's going to chart, in across the countries kind of contest. It is still a song contest, and they have different criteria that they look at. So they wanted to have that level as well in that. So yes, they have less people, but these individuals are also often more in the music industry. These are not just random people picked off the street anymore. These are like producers, songwriters, artists, singers, whatever it may be, music journalists. So they have a different perspective oftentimes. And I went to school for performing arts for a while, so I understand oftentimes where they're coming from. Sometimes I don't, but in certain songs, I actually agree with what they're doing. So that's basically the reason. So it's not like they just vote for the song that they like. They have certain criteria to look at as well. And then based on that, they come up with their ranking, or at least they're supposed to. Now we can talk day and night whether or not they do that, but that is the intent behind the juries. Connor, anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that I will add in here is that you're right. It does depend on, with each country, who the folks are that they pick.
Yes.
But I would also say it depends on what age group they are a
That
part
too.
of. We sometimes see this with like Junior Eurovision. In Junior Eurovision, there's a requirement that I think it's 2 of the 5 jurors have to be children to essentially make that jury alignment in tune with the tastes of, I guess, what would be quote unquote.
Yeah, you want to have like 70-year-olds judge Junior,
Right. It doesn't work perfectly, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we need to have like an age bracket jury for each country, but I think that's why we see some juries in particular be so out of sync, not necessarily with just the televote, even their own televote from their own country, is because they may not be a part of the majority that voting populace for their own televote. And that as well, someone pointed out that there are, and you as well, that there are criteria that they are judging based off of. It's not what is the most amazing song or performance or whatever. It's, what was visually appealing to you, the uniqueness of the performance, the vocal performance, the staging of it. Like there's a lot of other factors going into their decision, and that impacts the overall result of a song. So that's why they're not always in tune. I will say, though, it is very rare that they are on complete opposite ends of each other. Like, it is very rare that there's a song that wins the televote but comes 25th in the jury, with the exception of a few, because we do have like Kaino, for example, that was like, I don't even remember, 18th, 19th, 20th or something with the juries, but then won the
was
televote.
like less than 50, right?
Yeah. So like there are outliers to that comment, but it's very rare that they're that out of sync. They're usually within a range of each other, but that's just human difference. People are different, and people view different songs, or they view songs differently, and they want to vote differently. Just keep in mind that juries are 5 people, televotes are thousands of people. There's a big difference.
And some people vote 20 times, while maybe, your great uncle votes twice. So there's also, could be a disproportionate voting as well. And one thing as you were talking, I was thinking about is, don't you remember, it was like 4 years ago? Well, 4 years was 2020, that was canceled, but maybe before or something like that. They even had that criteria in the jury thing, and people are so pissed not to take the actual visuals and performance into account at all. And people are like, what? Do you remember that, like, summer being the criteria? Then they changed that the following year. Was that even in Turin, or where was that? I feel like it was in Turin, because I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it could have been elsewhere. But it was like where they had that in there, and people were like outraged.
Yeah, which, like, I get where they are, I guess, maybe coming from with that, because yes, there may be a package that visually is not as appealing as other performances, but it's still a very memorable or good performance. However, you can make that a part of your criteria, but you could also weigh that differently. Like you could say like, hey, this accounts for, I don't know, 15% of the score, while everything else is 30 or whatever. It just like, that one doesn't really make sense, because we're not at a point where it's a radio contest anymore. There
No,
is
I
a
know.
TV broadcast component of this, and you kind of have to
It's an
take
entertainment
pieces of
show,
that.
very much so. Now, we talked a lot about the juries. I just want to wrap this up. It's a good comment, though, that Chakasa, and they also rank the songs, the juries, which is also a very good point. And they take more into time to consider it. Viewers are not more reactionary. That is true. I wish the televoters could rank them as well, but we need to have a more demoscopic jury for that, I guess, So it's true. They do look at more than just one song. They can have a top 10. I know you can vote 20 times as well, and you can put few votes with that country and all that stuff. But a lot of people don't do that, except for the diehard fans. Are like, oh, I like Denmark. Let me vote for this. I like some sand there. So that is kind of like how they look at it. So everything is subjective. You cannot really pinpoint it. This is exactly the criteria, and I know there have been some issues in the past where jury votes were deleted. We don't want to go back to 23. No, 2. When was that? 22, right? 22. Yeah, that was crazy. So I understand the concerns, but that's basically, long story short, why the juries vote differently. Would you consider a 5th televote and a 5th with a jury a real winner of the whole contest? No, because I want to win the contest.
I mean,
Probably.
well, probably. Excuse me. It depends on the math of, if a song averages out with itself between jury and televote, but there's a lot of chaos in the first, second, third, and fourth song that they average down or whatever. I mean, then it would be a real winner because by a point-based total, they won. So I mean, yes, I just don't know if I actually understand the
I think
question.
I mean, look at this last year. Israel was in the top 5 of both groups, right? So, but they came 3rd overall. Doesn't really make them a winner, at least it makes a winner to you, maybe. Or like the same for who came 2nd? My brain is bad last year. Oh, Cha 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 came also top 5 with both, and didn't win, but it's still great success. So, and there are plenty of Soldi, whatever you go back, they always in the top 5. So I'm not sure exactly that it's a success. And I think whoever finishes in the top 5 should be very excited and happy with their performance. But in terms of winner, of course, that is subjective.
Yeah.
So
one thing I did want to point out as well, just on this conversation of jury versus televote real fast. We also have to keep in mind the fact that there are 2 separate broadcasts that these votes are being populated from. The jury show having the second dress rehearsal to vote out of, and the televote, with the exception now of the rest of the world, which opens like at the end of, I think, the second the second dress rehearsal all the way through to the live show. That voting populace is voting during the live broadcast. And so, things could happen where there is an issue or something happens in the jury show that doesn't actually happen in the public live stream, or vice versa. That happens in the live stream version on your broadcast, but did not happen in the jury show. And so that also accounts, I think, a little bit for this variance that I don't think we talked about or mentioned. That sometimes, even we've seen it in performances, like people will be like, I'm going to pull out this super high note that's not in any of my performances, and I'm going to be really showy and flashy, because they know that the jury is voting, and they know that they're probably going to react better to that than putting it in their actual performance for the televote, because televoters don't care about flashy, high, crazy range vocals. They just want a great show. So
that is true. Isn't it weird that the world votes before the song performances are available to the public? Personally, yes, it is strange to me. However, most people who vote in the rest of the world are the diehard fans, right? Like us. So we kind of have at least, but even those, a lot of haven't seen it yet. Certainly the semis, which is a strange concept if you think about it. I understand they're thinking because of time zones. A lot of people are asleep when the show is actually on live, so they want to be able to capture those votes as well. But it is a strange concept if you really think about it. I also, that's why I said before, everyone that is putting the recap together, use a good part that truly represents your song. That's why I was like with the Netherlands, why would you do the talkie part? That's not representative of the song's overall feel and message. I mean, the message, you can say it is that, but the feel and why people gravitate towards it was not because of the ending. It was because of the fun quirkiness of the song. So I think the recap becomes even more important than it ever has for that particular reason. And I will be more nitpicky, of course, in the future about that as well, I think. But yeah, it's a valid point. It is odd, but at the same time, I don't know if there is a better solution. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, it is tricky because like I understand, from like our perspective, this show is going to be at 2 o'clock on a work day. So we may not be able to tune in live. And so giving them that extra time window allows them to make sure that those votes are cast and they can be included. I think it is interesting to do it because if you actually do participate in the rest of the world vote, you do get a voting recap. So they do play a recap of the
You have to watch it, otherwise you cannot
have
vote.
to. But the thing is that you get 10 seconds of a performance and then are expected to spend money to vote. So you're right. I think for the diehard Eurovision fans who have been following, press, have been watching the rehearsal clips on social media and on YouTube, they know what they're already going to vote for. But for like a casual Eurovision watcher trying to do the rest of the world vote, I don't think that extra time window really does anything for them because they're either going to do one of two things. They're just going to spam all of their votes for their favorite song and just be like, listen, sending all 20 this way. Or they're going to vote and then watch the show and realize that they actually wanted to change what they've already voted and how they
it may make sense. Not that I'm trying to take power away, that there would be no rest of the world in the semis and only in the grand final, because by then they could have seen all of the performances, right? So it would make a little bit more sense for the rest of the world to vote because they know what everything looks like. With now the rest of the world is the second year, so we're still learning more about it. We only have 1 year of data, so it's difficult to just draw conclusions on that. But it might be that really just like, well, my country's in it, so I'm going to vote for that. Nobody has heard the song, but I'll vote from the country I'm from, or like my diaspora, like my heritage, and that could be a concern of mine. But it's too early to go to complete conclusions. We have to get a little bit more data in before go into that sort of territory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a good question, and I don't think there's an easy answer to that. I can see the concerns about this, but I also can see the pros. Why understand why the EBU would open it early. So, any final thoughts, Connor, before we close out this live stream to enjoy the show? Actually, take off your professional hat. For right now, you get to cheer for your favorites. Just go a quick, go this country, go that country. Who would you call?
I mean, I'll give it out to Malta. I know that I'm apparently one of very few who are really pulling for it. Let's see. I don't know. This is a hard one because I don't have as many of like my favorite songs in this semi.
That's okay if you can't think of one, because then I can say for sure is because there are a bunch of songs I really like that I know are safe. So I'm gonna root for the one that is not necessarily safe, but I really want to qualify. Go San Marino. Go. Get him, Tiger. I really want that one in, but I know I didn't even predict it. But we shall see.
Valid. I mean, I want to root for Denmark too. I've loved this song. It's been on my playlist. I really enjoy the studio track. It's just unfortunately her vocals haven't been living up to my expectations live. Who knows? She may be sick or maybe she's holding back. But if she's not on for the live performance tonight, I do have worries, and I do think that I may lose Denmark, and I'll have to console poor Phil and David. But I would still like her to have a good performance at the end.
Same for Czechia also. I want to add Czechia to mine as well. I just probably have I'm less optimistic about Czechia qualifications than I'm with San Marino's right now, but I'm still rooting for them as well because I love my rock punk kind of genre. Grunge, so both of the songs. And as a reminder, we will be back here with the next live stream right after the qualifiers are known. So make sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when we are live. Good luck to all of your favorites, and we're happy for whoever qualifies. And I'll see you on the other side. Okay, enjoy the show.
Bye, guys.